Hey, 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 welcome. It's Desiree Stafford. I'm super excited to be here with you today for this training. We're going to talk about the simple system that I use to attract and convert ready-to-buy dream clients and how I've used the system to add 6 figures to my income in 90 days without burnout, right? My name is Desiree Stafford once again, so let's move on with the presentation. Now, in the next 60 minutes, we're going to spend about 45 to 60 minutes, I would say, together. You're going to discover how to magnetize dream clients who are ready to invest with you now, not someday, maybe never, okay? So this is important for you if you're someone who's sick and tired of people getting on the phone and they need to think about it, they're not sure, they're kind of on the fence, they need to talk to their husband, all those kind of excuses that come up, right? You want people to get on the phone and be ready to make a decision, and that's what I'm going to teach you today, okay? Now, I do want you to stay till the end because I actually would love to show you how to customize my system for you and your business. Got it? All right. Now, we're going to talk about money today, right? $100,000 in 90 days is nothing to sneeze at. But I also want you to understand that this is not a get-rich-quick type of training, okay? It is going to require you to do work, but zero struggle is necessary, okay? So here's what I'd love for you to do. We're going to spend a little bit of time here together. I really want to make sure that I have your full undivided attention. So if you would, please minimize Facebook, put your phone on silent, close the office door, whatever you need to do to create a safe place for you where there's no distractions, no interruptions for this time that we're going to spend together. I also want you to take notes. So make sure that you grab a sheet of paper, you've got something to write with, because what I'm sharing with you, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars to learn this kind of stuff, and I charge my clients a pretty penny for this kind of information. So I really want you to get the most value that you can out of today's training, and it'll be helpful for you to take some notes in order to do that, all right? You may hear my chair squeaking from time to time. It's my favorite chair. So I love it when I'm doing trainings. I also talk really quickly. So do your best to keep up with me so we can cover everything we need to cover in the short amount of time that we have together. Okay, so here's exactly what we're going to cover today. All right, I'm going to share with you the #1 reason your business is not serving you, because your business should always be serving you, with the freedom, fun, and fulfillment that you deeply crave yet. Okay, so it may not be serving you yet, but I'm going to share with you how you can turn things around. All right, I'm also going to share with you how to turn that feeling like a fraud into the fearlessness that you need to charge premium fees. I'm talking about $5,000 to $25,000 for your expertise. And this is for you if you feel like right now you are a living magnet to I can't afford it prospects, right? There's nothing worse than people getting on the phone and they're full of excuses, right? I'm also going to share with you the tweak that's going to make you stand out in a sea of vanilla, bland, boring service providers and position you as the sought-after expert in your niche. I say niche, you may say niche, but we're talking about the same thing, okay? This is for you if you desire ready-to-buy dream clients. You're going to love this, okay? And then finally, I'm going to show you how to steal my system for making multiple 5 figures per month with predictability. Okay, so no more of the up and down yo-yo months, right? Even if you're an introvert like me, you have a tiny list, and no one even knows your name yet, okay? So I hope you're excited because I'm excited, all right? Now, I also want to make sure that you are in the right place. I'm asking you to invest 45 to 60 minutes of your time. So let's make sure that you're in the right place, okay? So when I read these situations out to you, and you can also read along with me while you're watching the slide, see if this feels like you, if you can relate, if it resonates, all right? You've invested in branding courses, mindset programs, marketing coaches, sales programs, everything, you name it, right? But you're not attracting clients who can afford to pay you. They can't afford your services. You're exhausted from your 24/7 posting schedule. You're blogging, you're networking, you're creating freebie after freebie, but you're still banging your head against 2 to 10K months, right? Feels like no matter what you do, you're still stuck at the same income level and you're not able to break through or even keep it consistent, okay? This is for you if you're not booking enough discovery sessions per month, or you feel like when you do book discovery sessions, you're wasting a lot of your time speaking with non-buyers, people who have zero intention. I mean, they literally hop from discovery session to discovery session hoping for free coaching. That's not how you can run a business, right? You need to be speaking with people who are actually wanting to invest, wanting to experience transformation right now, right? This is also for you if you're tired of seeing your peers soar ahead of you because you know you should be doing better by now. So this is not about being jealous. This is about knowing that you're just as good, if not, maybe even better, right? And you don't understand, like people who start the same time as you, they're like killing it, and you're still where you were. I know when I was there, it was the most frustrating thing I could even imagine. I mean, there were literally kids, and I'm not saying that to be offensive, but there were literally children out here making more money than people with years more experience than them, okay? So if you feel a little frustrated when you see everyone else or when you see your peers soaring ahead of you, trust me, I understand it, right? I get it. All right, this is also for you if you're secretly regretting signing some of your clients, but you got to pay the bills. Now, I've been there, okay? I've signed the wrong client. I'll admit it. I've signed the wrong client at times because I was afraid that if I didn't know where the hell the next sale was going to come from, all right? This is also for you if deep down you're starting to lose the passion for your work. I cannot tell you how many people who come to work with me are saying to me, you know, Desiree, I really want this to work, but there's a part of me that's just like done with this. There's a part of me that feels like it's so draining, it's so time consuming that I'm starting to lose the passion for what I do and I'm scared, right? So if you feel like you resonate with any of these situations, really, then you're in the right spot because I'm going to show you how to turn all of this thing around and how to really enjoy your business, how to make it fun for you, and also make the kind of money that you desire, all right? So let's talk about why you're not getting the results you want right now. Because if you were on this training, I know something about you. I attract people who are doers. I attract people who work their asses off, right? And I typically attract people who are high achievers. So we're people who will keep going and going and going and going and going because we're determined to figure it out, right? So if that's you, one of the reasons why you're not getting results is because you've been led to believe that better results are going to come from doing more. All right. So you're working yourself into the ground, but again, you're not seeing much change. You know, there's a classic value that many people have, which is hard work equals success. We all buy into, or many of us anyway, buy into it. I know I certainly did. My parents certainly did, and their parents certainly did. And many people in society are pushing this idea that hard work equals success. And here I want to bust that myth for you. Because I even look at your own situation, okay? If you're working really hard, doing everything you know you're supposed to do, and you're still not experiencing success at the level that you want, what does that tell you? It tells you that that equation is off, all right? So here's what the real problem is. The real problem is you're not focusing on the 3 key things that actually are required to attract ready-to-buy prospects. So you're doing, but you're not focused. And by the way, this is not your fault. There's so much misinformation in the marketplace. So I totally understand where you're coming from, because trust me, I was in your shoes and I was doing all of this stuff and not getting the results and like pulling my hair out like, what the fuck? Why is nothing changing, right? So what I ended up doing was, and I'll share this more with you in my story, I ended up, you know, removing all the stuff that wasn't working and really focusing on 3 specific things. They're actually what brings in the clients, the people who are ready to buy on the spot, okay? Now, the good news is when you get this right, you can actually start doing less. You can start doing less, all right? Because your results, you'll realize that your results don't come from you executing a gazillion strategies. They come from you understanding you better, right? Your results, I want to say this again so you really get this. Your results come from you understanding you better. And I'll explain more about this in today's training. But please know, it's not the strategy. I'm not saying you don't need any strategy. What I'm saying is whatever strategy you choose is not what's going to bring you the results. It's who you're being behind the result. Does that make sense? All right, so I'll explain it more as we go on. All right, now, when you get this right, you can do all kinds of fun things, like trade 4K months for your first 20K sale, like my client JC did as a book coach. Or you could leap from charging $150 an hour to selling $5,000 programs within weeks, like my client Shelly did, who's an intuitive. Or you could book nearly 24 discovery sessions from one email to your tiny, tiny list, like my client Beck did. And she was a health coach, all right? Now, all of my clients that I just shared their amazing results with you, they struggled in their businesses before they hired me. They had been in other programs. They had tried other things, and they weren't getting the results. So I'm sharing this with you because I want you to see that no matter what you've experienced, whether you're getting some results and they're just kind of like, nah, not really what you want, or you're not getting results at all, right? You're making some money, but definitely not where you want to be. I want you to understand that no matter where you are in your business, there are bigger and better possibilities available to you. And it doesn't have to require, like I said before, it doesn't have to require you working harder. In fact, I would actually encourage you to work less, okay? If we were to work together. That's typically what I do with my clients, but we'll talk about that later. Now, I also want you to understand that my clients got these kind of results without any paid ads. They didn't do photo shoots. They didn't do launches. They didn't run out and spend $5,000 or $10,000 on a brand new website. They didn't find joint venture partners, okay? They didn't have to convince their clients. They didn't have to be pushy, and they didn't have to be salesy. In order to sell, we're talking about packages anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000, based on these particular clients. So I need you to understand that, first of all, none of these things are wrong. Ads are not wrong. Photo shoots are not wrong. Launches, whatever. They're not wrong. But you have to make sure you're doing them in the right order. Because if you're doing these things right now and you're still not where you need to be financially in your business, what does it tell you, right? You can always tell when you look at what you're experiencing right now, you can always tell, is this working or is it not working? Okay, I remember when I first started my business and I ran straight to ads because everybody said ads were the thing. And there's nothing wrong with ads, but until I figured out these 3 things that I'm going to share with you today, it was a waste of money. Same thing with the photo shoot, because it was a waste of money. Like the photo shoot didn't bring me a waiting list of clients, okay? The launch didn't bring me all of the people that I wanted to work with. Like none of those things worked, and they cannot work effectively until you address the 3 things that I'm going to share with you today, okay? Now, who the hell am I and why should you care about a damn thing that I have to say, right? Because I know when I get on training, they're like, oh, okay, get to the point. Like, who are you? Tell me, that kind of stuff. You want to kind of move on and understand, like, why should I listen to you? Because there's a ton of experts in the marketplace. There's a ton of people who teach what I teach. So why should you listen to me, right? Why would you even care what I have to say versus anyone else that you've heard, right? So let me just share with you my short bio. Essentially, I help women make big money effortlessly. Essentially, my clients are women with big purposes, big callings, big missions, and they want to live a life that's as big as their purpose. It's as big as their mission. It's as big as their calling, right? And that's what I show them how to do. My longer bio is that I'm a best-selling author. I'm a mindset and business mentor. And I work with powerful women who want to build simple but wildly profitable 6-figure businesses fast. I pride myself on efficiency, so we got one speed, okay, and that's fast. My team is pretty lean. It's me. I have a part-time virtual assistant, and also I have my adorable mini pin, Lily. She also supports me in my business, and my laptop, and that's it. That's all we got going on here. And I run a multi-6-figure business, okay? So, there we go. Even though I've had all those successes, it's been an amazing year for me. Even though I've had such success, there was a time when I felt anything but successful, okay? There was a time when I couldn't attract high-paying clients for the life of me, any client really. And it was scary and it was frustrating. And I felt like I had every single reason to fail. Now, this is after me starting 3 profitable offline businesses, all right? But I still struggled when it came to coaching. And I felt like I was spinning my wheels a lot. And, there were many times I was like, this is way harder. For such a simple business concept, it felt so difficult to get any real traction, okay? Now, what actually happened for me when I was in that period of things really not working, a lot of stuff was bubbling up to the surface for me to actually deal with. A lot of things that I thought that I had handled in my past came right back up to let me know that it still needed to be addressed. One of the things was the fact that I was molested by a family member when I was 6 years old. Okay. Now, this is something I had thought I had handled in therapy years ago. But when it came to showing up online, I realized that the trauma that I had experienced because of that sexual abuse, it really made me afraid to be seen. It made me afraid to be in the spotlight. I was afraid to really show up. Now, here's the thing you need to understand. I was technically visible, meaning I was showing up online like 3 to 5 times per day, posting and giving content and doing all this kind of stuff. So I was visible, right? However, I was subconsciously blocking my visibility, right? I need you to understand that. There are a lot of people who will show up in the marketplace and you'll see them every single day, but they're not making money. They're not attracting clients, okay? And a lot of times it's because of a fear of being seen. And this is happening subconsciously. This is not something that you're aware of, right? This is going on below the surface. And that was what was going on for me. Because I had experienced trauma, I was afraid to be in the spotlight and, open myself up for that again, right? Not directly sexual trauma, obviously, but I was afraid to be seen, right? Because a lot of people who've experienced trauma in the past, we need to feel safe. And I didn't feel safe being so open, being so vulnerable online. I just didn't feel it. And so I was working really hard and still not attracting the clients that I wanted to attract, okay? So that was one thing that came up for me. Another thing that came up was the fact that I felt guilty about making a lot of money because no woman in my family had ever done that, right? Both my mother and my grandmother, my sheroes, they both stayed in emotionally abusive relationships because they didn't believe that they could make it on their own. Now, granted, they were born in a completely different generation and they didn't have the same opportunities that we have today. However, I still modeled after them, right? And again, this was all going on subconsciously. Wasn't something I woke up in the morning and said, I'm going to follow in my mother and my grandmother's footsteps and not allow myself to make money. In fact, I desperately wanted to break that pattern, which is why I had become an entrepreneur. It's why I felt so strongly about being independent. But secretly, I still had the belief that it wasn't okay for me as a woman to make a lot of money. That was still going on below the surface, all right? So it's important that you understand that there's sometimes, we can be putting our all into something, but there are beliefs that we're still holding on to that we may not be aware of that are holding us back. And that's exactly what was going on for me. Another thing that I was dealing with is the fact that, I've been assertive and direct for as long as I can remember. But I grew up in a family that was very passive aggressive. So my way wasn't the way that was readily accepted. And I felt like the black sheep in my family. I felt different. I felt like I didn't fit in. And I was often either directly or sometimes subtly, indirectly criticized. And so that made me feel rejected. It made me feel judged because I didn't fit in. And then, of course, when I came into the coaching industry and there were so many women whose personality, or at least the persona that they put out there, was so different from me, and they all seemed alike, and I felt so different. I feared the rejection. I feared that clients wouldn't relate to me or wouldn't be attracted to me because there were so many other women in the marketplace that were nothing like me at all. They weren't as direct. They weren't as assertive. And so it brought back that old wound that I really had to heal, right? I'm also someone, and you may be similar if you're attracted to my style, who struggled with, owning my worth and my accomplishments. I often felt like a fraud because I had imposter syndrome. Many high-achieving women, many people who, and it actually doesn't just affect women, it affects men as well. But there's a lot of us who, we have a difficult time internalizing our achievements, right? And so when we can't internalize our achievement, then sometimes we don't feel that we're good enough. And that was exactly what I was dealing with. And I was feeling like a fraud. And so that was another thing that would drive me to work really hard. And then when I didn't get the results, because I'm such an overachiever, then that chipped away at my confidence and my self-esteem. Because as overachievers and or high achievers, however you categorize yourself, our sense of worth, our sense of identity is wrapped up in our accomplishments. So if you're trying and you're failing, or you're trying and you're not getting the results that you want over and over and over again, that can slowly eat away at you, right? And that's exactly what was happening to me. Now, I'm also an introvert. if you couldn't tell. And I want to say if you couldn't tell, because there are a lot of people who think I'm an extrovert, but I'm not. I am an introvert, very introverted, in fact. And I hated networking. And I typically feel very overwhelmed in large groups of people, whether online or offline. And so I was scared that that was actually going to prohibit me from attracting clients. So these were just some of the things that I had to overcome, some of the limiting beliefs, some of the stories that I really had to overcome in order for me to create the success that I shared with you earlier today, all right? But I will promise you this, when I was going through this stuff, there were many times where I felt like I had no reason to win, but I did persist anyway, right? I invested in group programs. I attended workshops. I, joined every single high-end mastermind program that I was aware of. And I did start attracting clients, but it was hard. I was exhausted at the end of the month. I was overwhelmed. I had burnout, right? And, it was like, okay, wait, I busted my ass. I've got clients. And now here I am feeling like I'm losing passion for my business because I'm working so hard. I'm bringing in a couple of sales. And I'll be honest with you, there were a lot of clients that I attracted who either couldn't afford my services. And then some of the ones I did sign, secretly, I was like, oh God, you know what I mean? Like secretly, I felt like frustrated with them. They were, draining my energy. And I knew something had to change. And this is after working with many world-class mentors. There was still something that was missing and I couldn't figure it out. And it was driving me nuts to, there's a problem, but you can't figure it out. And it was driving me nuts. So I got to the point where I was sick of trying to work harder and nothing changing, because I remember, and here I am in a situation where I had put everything I had, my savings, my credit cards, like everything I had put into this business, and I still wasn't seeing the results I wanted. I created all of this debt and I wasn't in a position to pay it back, all right? My credit cards were maxed out. And I remember one day sitting down, sitting at my laptop, staring at my computer screen, looking at my overdrawn bank account and feeling so aggravated and thinking, like, where the fuck am I gonna get the money to pay my mortgage? Where's that gonna come from? Because I'm doing everything that I know how to do, and the results aren't changing, right? And that was kind of like the line in the sand moment for me. I was like, enough is enough, because I was not going to go back to work. I refused to go back and work for someone else, but yet I still couldn't figure out how to make it work on my own. And so at that point, I decided, listen, I need help, right? I need help. And so I found the right mentor. And by the way, I had no idea where I was going to find the money to hire her. Because remember, my account is overdrawn. My credit cards are maxed out. I had some clients, but the client installments were small, right? So I was like, I don't know where the money is going to come from, but I know this is what I need. I know it's what I want, right? And I also knew that, if I wanted clients, if I wanted to attract the people who were going to say yes on the spot, it meant I also needed to be decisive about this. I needed to be able to say, I'm worthy of making this investment, and I am not going to allow any excuse or any circumstance to get in my way. I'm just not going to allow that. And so I decided I was going to hire this mentor. I said yes. I did not have the money to pay her 5-figure deposit, okay? But I said yes anyway. And I just trusted that I would make the money, and I made the money. I made a couple of sales, was able to make the money to make the investment, right? So that was how committed I was. That was how committed I was, and if I didn't make the sales, I would have found the money some other way. I would have borrowed it from friends. I would have done whatever I needed to do, because I needed my business to work for me. I'm like, I'm a grown woman. I want a business that takes care of me. I'm sick and tired of feeling like, I'm last on my list. And so that's what I did. And by the way, it was the best decision I could have ever made, because within 30 days, I made $34,000. And then within 90 days, I added over $100,000 to my income. And now I make multiple 5 figures per month, okay? So I've used what I learned from all of my high-end coaching, programs and the mentors that I've worked with, and also the stuff that I learned from trial and error. And I use that kind of stuff to help my clients create quantum leaps in their businesses, even when other programs have failed them before, all right? So I'm sharing all of this with you because I want you to see that If I could break through all of the programming, all of the reasons, and all of the patterns that I had for not succeeding, right? Or really that could have caused me to just chuck it and fail. But I overcame those things. And if I could overcome them, I know you can. All right? I know you can. So let's now move on to the training, or more of the training. Let's talk about the number one reason your business is not serving you with the freedom, with the fun and fulfillment you deeply crave yet. All right? Because I'm going to show you how to do that. So let me ask you this question. How well do you see in the dark? How well do you see in the dark? If you're like me, you're going to stumble around, right? You're going to bang your toe probably on the corner of your couch. You're going to trip over your coffee table. You're going to likely bump into walls until you finally find the switch and you turn the friggin' light on, right? Okay. Now, once you can see clearly, you can move about that room with complete ease, comfort. You don't have to, get any unnecessary bumps or bruises. Now, it's the same thing with your business, all right? Unless you can see clearly, you will build a business that feels more like a job, okay? You will build a business that requires you to work way harder than necessary. And this is the number one reason you don't have the freedom, the fun, and fulfillment that you crave, okay? So what's the solution? You need to clarify your vision, all right? Clarify your vision so that you can build a business that actually serves you and your clients better. Now, this is precisely how you can stop working your tail off and chasing strategy after strategy while your peers continue to soar ahead of you, okay? Once you establish or reestablish your vision, you could design what I like to call a pleasure-measured plan for building a highly profitable six-figure business. Now, here's the thing. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, well, that's kind of basic, right? Are you just going to tell me that I need to have a better vision? Well, yeah, that's not just what I'm going to tell you, but it's a big part of it. This is, it's so interesting. The more advanced we become as entrepreneurs, the less we remember to go back to the basics. We always think that it needs to become more complicated, and it doesn't. It needs to become more simple, okay? Simplicity is sophistication. I can't remember who says that, but that's a great quote, okay? So the goal is not to make life harder for you. The goal is to make life simpler for you, and you make it simpler for yourself by clarifying your vision, okay? So, I have a six-figure business. You may have a six-figure business, or you may be on your way to one, whatever. But we're not all the same, right? We're not all the same. You can run a six-figure business with a huge team. You could be running Facebook campaigns all the time. You can be doing huge launches. You can be serving clients at low rates, but you'll be exhausted by the end of the month, right? And after you cover your expenses, how much will you have left to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, to do the things you want to do the traveling, to buy yourself nice clothes, to eat great food? Like, how much money will you have left for that? Let alone time, right? Or you can build a six-figure business like I have. Actually, I have a multi-six-figure business. And I only have 2 offers, and I only work with a handful of clients, right? I've got little to no team, no paid ads. Well, I use some paid ads, but not a lot. And I don't do big launches, okay? Now, the choice is yours. You could choose to do it the big way, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just letting you know that there's different ways, to do the same kind of thing. All right. It just depends on what's important to you. What's of value to you? Is your time important to you? Is your flexibility important to you? Do you want to run a big team? Do you want to manage people or not? Right? You've got to be able to know those kind of things in order for you to design a business that feels like it's you, not like it's like a mini me of someone else. Okay. So I want to help you get clear on your vision. All right. So let's start with a few questions. These are going to help you. Some of these questions you're going to want to look at further after today's training, but for the purposes of today, they will help you, get your mind around what it is that you really want. All right. So what I'd like you to do is grab that sheet of paper that I asked you to take out, grab that for me, get your pen, and I want you to write down these questions and then write down the answers for them, all right? Again, we're gonna move a little bit quickly through this, but you can always go back and do this deeper on your own. First question is, what exactly do you want? I'm gonna ask again, what exactly do you want? Okay, now I'm not saying, what do you think you can have? What could you maybe have? What do your parents think you can have? What do your kids want you to have? What does your husband think? No, no, no. I'm asking you what exactly you want, okay? This is important because so many times as women, we give ourselves away. We literally abandon ourselves to take care of everyone else. And we can often, lose ourselves in the process, and we make decisions based on what everybody else wants or what everyone else thinks or what everyone else expects versus what we want, right? So what is it that you want? Exactly what is that? Okay, jot that down for yourself. And it could be anything. It could be more time with your family. It could be going out and getting weekly massages. It could be a trip to the Amalfi Coast. It could be a brand new BMW. It could be anything you want, right? You get to decide. And no judgment about it, right? Nothing is silly. Nothing's too big. Nothing, okay? Next question. Why is that important to you? Okay? Why is having that important to you? Okay? Next question. How much money will you need to make to have it? Right? Now you're gonna have to do a guesstimate here because you may have written down several things that you want, right? So give yourself a guesstimate of what that's gonna require of you financially every single month. Is it 10K a month? Is it 20K a month? 30K, 50K, whatever. What is that number? And again, nothing is too big for you. And after this training, by the way, I'd like you to actually go and get some real numbers, okay? So you know how to plan for what it is that you desire. All right, next question. What happens if you don't get it? What happens if you don't get it? So 3 to 6 months down the line, if your financial situation is the same, nothing has changed, and you haven't been able to get what you want, what happens? What does that mean for you? And then finally, what will it take you to get there as quickly as possible, right? So what kind of resources do you need? Or what kind of support do you need, right? Think about it. What is going to be required of you to get there as quickly as possible? What maybe you need to give up in order to get what you want, okay? Now, I love this exercise. You can finish up writing, but I love this exercise because it really gets you clear, right? It really gets you clear about what's important to you, why it's important to you, what it's going to cost, all that kind of good stuff, so that you can focus on actually getting it. One of the biggest reasons people don't get what they want is because they're not focused on it, because they allow the circumstances in life, to distract them, right? And I don't want that to happen for you. I really want you to have whatever it is that you want. I believe that we can have anything that we want, right? But you've got to be clear about what it is in order for you to get it, okay? But I love this exercise, and I do this with my clients because it helps them, design a business that's serving them. I actually do this for myself every quarter so that I can make sure that I'm always moving in the right direction, right? That, because we grow, and as we grow, what we want can change. So I want to make sure that as I'm growing and as I'm stretching myself in my business, that I'm keeping my desires in alignment with who I'm becoming, okay? So do that exercise, it's powerful. All right, so now I want to talk to you about how to turn feeling like a fraud into the fearlessness to charge premium fees. We're talking about $5,000 to $25,000 for your expertise. This is for you, even if you feel like you're a living magnet to I can't afford it prospects right now, okay? Now, have you ever felt like you're one refund request away from ruining your entire reputation? Or do your clients get mixed results? Whoopsie, hold on here. Or do your clients get mixed results and, sometimes you feel guilty, or it even makes you doubt your ability to help them, okay? That's exactly how I used to feel, right? I used to feel like, a fraud anytime my clients didn't get the results that I wanted them to get, or anytime, somebody didn't do the work, you know, and I used to make it all about me. And a lot of times it's not. I mean, we're in a partnership with our clients, right? We are responsible to our clients, but we're not responsible for them, right? So you don't want your confidence to be going up and down based on what your clients are doing or not doing. Okay. Here's the thing. You can change this. You can change feeling like a fraud into being fearless. And the key to doing that is this. You need to value yourself like a diamond, all right? So that you can attract clients who value you and themselves enough to do the work, all right? Now, specifically, I want to talk about 3 areas where you need to focus on really understanding your value, okay? So the first is your gifts, your talents, your skills. You need to value them, right? So that you can incorporate them into your offers and have your offer solve a burning business, relationship, or health problem for your ideal client. Now, the reason why this is so important is because it actually helps your clients get better results. When you incorporate all of those different aspects of you that can actually help your clients get better results, what do? They end up renewing with you, right? Because they're getting the results, so why wouldn't they renew? And then oftentimes they're also sending you referrals, okay? Now, the thing is, if you're a high achiever like myself, or someone who, you know, struggles with imposter syndrome, you may have a tendency to minimize your accomplishments, to minimize your gifts, to minimize your talents, to overlook the skills that you have. Because oftentimes we think that, well, it comes so easy to me, everyone must know this. Well, they don't, because if they did, they wouldn't have the need to hire someone, right? But we would typically, someone who has imposter syndrome or is a high achiever, typically, you know, we don't see, we're so advanced, right? That it's so difficult for us to see that everyone else can't see what we can see, right? And that's the most frustrating thing. This is why I think many of us need help the most. It's because we're so logical, we're so smart, we're so like, it just comes so easy to us. We're like, how could no one else understand this? How could no one else have already figured this out already, right? And so we will oftentimes have a difficulty seeing the very things that are so special about us that make our offers unique. And so we will either neglect to put them in the offer, or when we do put them in the offer, we undervalue them, okay? We undervalue the impact that they have on our clients, and that needs to change, all right? That needs to change. So that's the first area you need to really value, is your gifts, your talents, and your skills, okay? The second thing is, you know, you also need to value the results that your clients get from working with you. Now, let me rephrase this because I want to make it more clear. I know you value the results. What I want you to understand is that when a client works with you, there's a direct result that they get, okay? And then there are also often intangible lifetime benefits that a client experiences because they've worked with you and they've gotten results. So you want to make sure that you understand that as well. So for example, if you're a weight loss coach and you helped your client lose 10 pounds, fantastic, right? Oftentimes you're quick to want to charge a client based on 10-pound weight loss, and you might minimize that. You might think, okay, well, it's just 10 pounds. I've helped other clients lose 20, so it's not that big of a deal, right? There you already go into this minimizing thing, which is what so many of us do. But I also want you to understand, what else does a client get to experience because of this, right? So let's say your client loses 10 pounds. Maybe that makes her feel, way more confident. And she, shows up more powerfully at work. She ends up getting a promotion. Maybe she ends up meeting the love of her life. Like, all this kind of stuff happens. This is what we call the ripple effect of the main result. And so you need to be aware of those ripple effects that you create for clients, because that will help you really understand the true value of what it is that you're offering people. So it's the direct result, yes, but it's also beyond the direct result. Because when you can truly see that, then you will understand that what you're charging is actually a bargain, right? You will understand it from that perspective. But until you can see that, you will typically minimize. You'll typically think, well, can I really charge this much? Who's going to pay me this much? But you need to be able to see the value that a client gets so that you can convey that value with confidence. All right? Okay. The next thing you need to value is yourself as a coach or mentor. Okay? Because your clients are not just paying for the expertise. They're not just paying for the, the 8-step plan or whatever it is that you create for them. They're also paying for the way you think. They're paying for your unique perspective, the way you see the world. You've got to value that. You've got to understand how important that is. Many times, again, we overlook that. I know I did for a very long time. I couldn't imagine, again, it just seems so simple to me, and I didn't understand that people really, value the way I saw things, right? And so you need to understand that value for yourself if you're struggling in that area. All right? Now, this is so important because until you get this right, until you value yourself in all of these different areas, you are going to have a difficult time attracting clients who value you, right? Everything starts from you. We reflect, our businesses and our clients reflect back to us how we really feel about ourselves, which is why value is so important. You need to be valuing yourself like a diamond. And when you get this right, you can easily charge $5,000 to $25,000 for what you already know how to do and get it with predictability, okay? You're not going to feel squirmish about your fees anymore, right? You're going to feel confident in stating your fee and expecting to receive it, and you will, all right? Now, I want you to think about what would you be able to do for yourself if you had that kind of money flowing into your business every month? Let's say you were selling 2 $5,000 packages a month. That's a $10,000 month. Or 2 $10K packages. That's a $20K month, right? What would that allow for you to do? Would you be able to take trips, to the Italian Riviera, buy yourself a new house or maybe a second home, send your kids to private school, take care of aging parents? What is actually important to you? What would you be able to do? Okay, what would it mean for you to have that kind of money coming in on a consistent basis? It's the security of that, right? All right. Now, when I helped my client, Elaine, who's a mindset coach, get clear on her value, she went from $0 in her business to $10,000 cash in less than 30 days. Okay? How much happier would you feel if you were able to cherry pick the very best clients and receive exactly the amount of money you wanted for your services? How much happier would you feel? Right? Good. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. I'm going to share with you now the tweak that's going to make you stand out in a sea of vanilla bland, boring service providers and position yourself as the sought-after expert in your niche, okay? This is for you if you desire ready-to-buy dream clients, okay? Now, we have been together for about 40 minutes now, okay? That tells me a couple things. Tells me, A, you're enjoying the content, and you're also vibing with my delivery, okay? Otherwise, you would have left by now, right? There's nobody holding you here. And here's the thing. There are plenty of other coaches, there are plenty of other mentors who teach similar things that I do, but no one can do it the way that I do because no one has my exact voice, right? And the same is true for you, which is why unleashing your voice is the marketing tweak that will make you stand out to clients that you were born to serve. And it will have you repel the wrong ones, okay? So let's talk about voice because it sounds simple, but it's difficult for many people, right? Your voice is really the unbridled, unapologetic, unfettered combination of your thoughts, your feelings, your passions, your belief, and your unique point of view, right? And it's actually how you express your originality. And you need to be using your authentic voice in all of your communication, whether it's written copy, whether it's, doing a presentation like this, you have to be coming with your authentic voice, all right? Now, it does take some courage to do this because for many of us, we've lost our voice, right? I know for me, after years of working in corporate, and presenting to the world everything, but who I really was, sometimes it can feel difficult. It can feel uncomfortable. It can feel vulnerable. to then now show up as yourself, even though that's what we crave, okay? Which is why so many of us, use filters when we write. I know when I first came on, I was filtering everything because, you need to make sales, you need to book clients, and what if I say the wrong thing and I offend somebody and, now I don't get a client? That all those kind of fears typically will hold a person back from really expressing their voice, okay? We spend a lot of time, we spend a lot of energy wearing these masks, putting on facades, okay? And in the process, we can actually lose touch with who we really are. So maybe sometimes, when you're with people that your voice comes out naturally. Or maybe not. Sometimes even with the people that you're closest to, you feel alone and you feel like you can't really express your voice, right? But when it comes to attracting clients, you can't be afraid of being real. You can't be afraid of being vulnerable. You can't be afraid of being honest, okay? Because if you start toning your voice down, because you don't want to lose potential clients, you're afraid of that, it's actually going to backfire on you. Because what that's going to do, it's going to keep you attracting clients who are not a match. You're going to continue to waste your time on the phone with these people who are never going to buy from you, right? And you will actually repel the people who are meant to work with you. If you're being, a muted version of yourself, it's difficult for the clients who would really connect with you to find you, right? Because you start blending in. You have to understand that your voice, it's not just a nice to have, it's an essential part of your branding and your positioning, all right? This is exactly what allows your ideal clients to connect with you, to choose you over another coach or mentor, okay? And when you give yourself permission to unleash your voice or to find it if you need to find it, this is when you'll build trust quickly with your audience, all right? And you'll be able to influence them. So this is why unleashing your voice is so important, okay? Now I want to share a quote with you. The art of marketing is the art of brand building. If you are not a brand, you are a commodity, and then price is everything, and the low-cost producer is the only winner, okay? This is another reason, I love this quote because it clearly illustrates why it's so important for you to express your voice, okay? Because it's a part of your brand. Now, when you get this right, and you finally give yourself permission to unleash, that fiery, passionate, powerful voice of yours, you can magnetize ready-to-buy dream clients who ask you for the sale at any fee, all right? I know this to be true because it's exactly what happened to my client, Holly. She's a wellness coach, and she attracted 4 clients in 6 weeks once she found her voice, all right? Now, the best part is she didn't have to go anywhere special or do anything special in order to attract those clients. They were in the same groups that she was already hanging out in, all right? And I want you to think about this. How many hours a month are you wasting on the phone with people who are not your people, right? Because you're filtering your voice or you haven't found it yet, okay? That's why it's so important for you to move beyond this and allow yourself to unleash that voice of yours, all right? Now, let's talk about my system. I want you to steal it, okay? Let's talk about it. Now, this is my system for making multiple 5 figures per month with predictability, even if you're an introvert or you have a tiny list or no one knows your name yet, okay? This is actually what I used to bring in $100,000 in 90 days, all right? So I want to explain it to you because I've got a lot of information on this slide. 3 days of promotion plus 1 teach sell piece of content with a call to action equals 5-figure weeks in sales in my world, okay? So teach sell content could be a webinar like what you're on right now. It could be a live stream. It could be a written post. It could be anything that you want. But it's important that you're teaching and selling. So many of us, we focus wholly on teaching, and then we forget to kind of make the offer. Or we focus so much on selling that people don't even connect with it, and so you don't make the sale. So you want to do a combination of teach and sell, much like what I'm doing here today, much like I show my clients how to do, so that you get better results, okay? Because everyone wants to buy, especially if they're in pain. They want to buy, but people don't want to feel like they're being sold to. So it's important that you understand the balance of teaching and selling. It's important that you don't, when you're writing a post, you don't think that you write the post and at the end of the post is finally when you make the sale, right? This is a big mistake that people make. The sales aren't being made throughout the entire process. Everything needs to be structured in the right way so that by the time people get to the end, they've already decided, yeah, I want to connect with this person. Yes, I'm interested, right? So you've got to structure your content in the right way. It has to have a balance of you teaching and selling, okay? Because a lot of, a lot of people misunderstand, and they think that, for example, the sales happen on the discovery session. Like they think that it starts on the discovery session, but it doesn't. It actually starts in your marketing, okay? By the time someone gets to your discovery session, that's the time for them to make a decision, okay? So here's the deal. There are 3 ways to execute this plan, 3 options. Option 1 is posting. So I'm talking about Facebook posting, okay? Or maybe a blog if you do a blog, to webinar, to makeover. Makeover is discovery session in my world, to client or clients, okay? Now, when I brought in this $100,000 in 90 days, what I did was a combination of option 1 and 2, okay? So I used webinars and I used post directly to an application, to a makeover session, to a client, okay? And now I use the 3rd option as well. I mean, I've used the 3rd option intermittently at different times, but to bring in the 100K in 90 days, I didn't use it. Everything was organic, okay? So what does this look like? If you're doing 3 days of promotion, that means 3 posts, 3, content-driven posts. But again, this doesn't have to be, long, drawn-out, complex stuff. It could be one really insightful educational post, which is what I typically like to do, and then you can do 2 shorter ones, and then the 4th one is going to be an invitation to a webinar, okay? And then from the webinar, you invite people to your makeover session or your discovery session, and then from there, some people will become clients, okay? Option 2 is very similar. You're doing, 3 posts again, and instead of going to a webinar, you're taking people, I can't even find my words today. You're taking people directly to your application, okay? They fill out the application. If they're approved, you hop on a makeover session with them. If it's a fit, they become a client, all right? And the 3rd option is 3 days of promotion via Facebook ads, okay? Send people to a webinar, invite them to a makeover session. If it's a fit, they become a client, all right? So I wanted to show you 3 variations so that you can see that you can do this with using paid ads, or you can do it without using paid ads. And when I added the $100,000 in 90 days, I did it without paid ads, okay? That was an experiment I was trying, and it worked out pretty well. So that's my system. Okay, again, it's really, really, really simple, but you've got to know how to apply all of the elements, all right? So let's recap what we've talked about today. I shared with you the number 1 reason your business is not serving you with the freedom, fun, and fulfillment you deeply crave. We talked about how to turn feeling like a fraud into fearlessness, to charge premium fees, anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 for your expertise. This is for you, obviously, if you are a living magnet to clients or to prospects who can't afford it right now, okay? I also shared with you the tweak that will make you stand out in a sea of vanilla, bland, boring service providers and position you as a sought-after expert in your niche, okay? And then finally, we talked about my system, and I showed you how you can steal it for making multiple 5 figures per month with predictability, even if you're an introvert, have a tiny list, or no one knows your name yet, okay? Many of my clients who signed up with me had never even heard my name before, had never even seen my marketing before, right? So this is important for you to understand because, a lot of people think if you don't have a big audience, if you don't have a big list, if you don't have a big following, that you can't make the kind of money that you want, which is why so many people spend time building their list. They spend time running around getting advertising done and taking photo shoots and doing all this stuff, trying to build up an image in order to make money. And so what happens is you actually end up incurring a bunch of debt, but you're not making money. And I show my clients how to do it the opposite way. I show my clients how to make money first, and then if you want those other things, then you do them, okay? Now, here's how you can implement what you've learned today. You need to get clarity on your vision, okay? Because this is going to allow you to build a six-figure business on your terms, okay? Six or multi-six-figure, whatever you want. You also need to value yourself like a diamond, okay? So you want to incorporate all of your gifts and talents into your offer and uncover the lifetime benefit for your clients, okay? This is how you're going to be able to confidently charge and deliver, actually, at the $5,000 to $25,000 level and get it, all right? You're also going to need to learn how to either find your voice or unleash your voice, okay? So that you can attract the clients who are ready to hire you now, all right? And then finally, just once you have all that done, just follow my simple system, okay? Now, what I've shared hopefully gave you some new awareness, all right? But you still need to know how to apply this stuff. So you know what you need to do, just got to figure out how you can apply it so that you get the results that you desire, okay? Now there's two options. Option one is what I consider the slow and hard way, okay? So that's when you take, the generalized knowledge that I shared with you today, and you try to implement it on your own, and you have to go through a lot of trial and error to see if it's actually going to work. Now, why I think this is a slow and hard way is because we often have blind spots. Like, think about it. How many times have you attended a training like this and you've attempted to implement with good faith, you've attempted to implement on your own, but you hit roadblocks, right? For whatever reason, you ran into a snag and you couldn't figure it out. Now, without understanding what actually went wrong and how to fix it, you're likely going to give up. You're likely going to just say, okay, that didn't work, and hop on to the next strategy. Trust me, I've done that. And many times it was the worst thing I could do, because if I had just stayed the course, I would have gotten the results that I wanted much faster. But when you don't know why something's not working, it's easy for you to think, oh, well, forget it, right? It's easy for that to happen, which is why I recommend option two, okay? Option two, I consider to be the fast and easy way, because you get customized support for you and your unique business, all right? So let me ask you, how supportive would it feel to have someone guide you and hold you accountable so that you did get the results that you wanted, okay? Imagine how much time and frustration you could actually save yourself, time that could be spent with your family, right? Time that could be spent with you taking care of you better, or spending time with your friends, or being with your man, right? That's why I'd love to invite you to a no-cost makeover session where I can actually customize my system for you. Remember, I promised I would show you how to customize my system so that we can make sure it works for you and your business. I don't believe in general stuff. I think everyone's different. I think everyone's an individual, which is why customization is so important. It's a critical part of my business, all right? And so I'd love to be able to share that with you. I'd love to be able to take a look at what's going on in your business and where you want to go and customize this plan and what I've shared with you to fit for you, all right? And if it makes sense, then I'll share what programs I have going on. And if, we both think that working together would be a good fit, we can talk about what that could look like for you, what working together could look like, okay? Now, I'm offering this session because I know that even though I've shared my awesome results, I've shared the results that my clients are getting, I know that when you're sitting on the other side and you're looking at your business and where things are and all of the things that you've tried, I know that sometimes you can still wonder, okay, well, that worked for her, but can it actually work for me, right? I've been in that situation, which is why I know it so well. And what happens is we often sabotage our own success because we make judgments about what's possible for us based on our past experiences. We're actually wired to do that, right? Our brain is searching for reasons all the time, and we're always typically looking to what's already happened for proof of what's possible. But here's the thing. You cannot predict the future by observing your past. That's a big mistake many people make. I'm one of those people, which is typically why I have so much support around me to help me see things from a different perspective, all right? Because the reality is you can choose to create something wonderful and new for yourself in any moment. So why not start today, okay? Why not start today? Because your possibilities are endless, even if you can't see them yet, all right? This is why, like I said, having someone who has an objective pair of eyes who can see beyond your limitations and help you see beyond your limitations is so important. It's so vital to have that, all right? To help you really elevate yourself and elevate your vision. because you really cannot see the frame when you're standing in the picture. That's the biggest problem with us, specifically when we work alone, right? You know, you cannot see everything that you need to see. Imagine your possibilities are like a football field, and in your mind, all you can see, you think you're doing everything, but all you can see is this tiny little corner, you know, the top right corner of the football field, and it's this like 3-foot circle, and you're spinning and spinning and spinning around in this circle when you have an entire football field of possibilities available to you. That's typically what we're doing, right? It's typically what we're doing. It's not our fault. We're just simply programmed that way, which is why it's helpful to have someone else who can actually see the football field, say, hey, 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 you got all of this extra space over here, all these other possibilities over here, right? So at least that's been helpful for me, and it's been helpful for my clients, which is why I'm inviting you to this makeover session. So here's the deal. I'm going to make it really simple and painless for you, okay? Especially if you're someone who is a strong, independent woman like myself. I know that asking for help can feel uncomfortable, right? Especially when you're used to being the one to help everyone else. You're used to being the caretaker, right? I really want you to, be able to get the support that you need, because in order for you to receive large amounts of money like we talked about today, you've got to be able to receive support, okay? Receiving is receiving, right? And if you're uncomfortable receiving in one area, you're going to be uncomfortable receiving in another, all right? Which is why a lot of strong independent women struggle with getting the money that they want, because many times we are the ones who are the givers, and we don't give ourselves permission to receive, okay? So I only have a few spots available this week, and sessions are approved by application only. So let me just let you know who this is not for, and then I'll tell you who it is for and how you can take advantage of it, all right? So this is not for you if you don't have a business yet, or your service does not solve a burning problem that your clients are aware of. So it has to be a problem that, can either help your clients transform in their life, their business, their relationship, their health, any of those kind of areas, okay? Now, unfortunately, I don't work with people who have MLM businesses, and I don't work with product-based businesses, all right? So that's who it's not for. This is who it is for. Let's see if it's a fit for you. You're a coach, a consultant, a healer, or a professional service provider who wants to attract clients who inspire you and are also inspired by you. It's so much more fun. It's so much more fun, all right? You're also ready to stop settling for feast or famine and finally make more than enough money so you can have peace of mind. Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how awesome it feels to not have to worry about money, to trust that it's going to be there every single month, all right? And that you don't have to work harder in order for that to happen. Obviously, you have to work, but you're not working harder. You're not spinning your wheels. You're not exhausted at the end of the month, all right? This is also for you if you're willing to do the internal and external work required to create more ease and flow in your business and life. So I have a very strategic mind. I can whip out strategy, fast, okay? However, I love to do the deeper work, because when you do the deeper work, when you deal with the things that we've talked about today, the strategy that you implement can be very simple and extremely effective. This is why my clients get the results that they get. It's why they make the quantum leaps that they make, and they're working far less than most of the people in the marketplace, all right? This is why, because they're doing both the internal and the external work. Internal first, okay? Get solid first, because when you do that, it comes through in your marketing, and that's what makes getting the results so effortless, okay? And also, you've got to be do or die, as in you're committed to getting results now, okay? So if this is you, then I would love to hop on the phone with you, all right? And customize my plan for you and see if working together beyond that is a good fit or not, all right? So here's how you can do this. You can go to DesireeStafford.com/session. Again, it's DesireeStafford.com/session. When you get there, you will see my calendar. All you have to do is pick a date and time that works best for you. You're going to answer a few simple questions. And if we feel it's a fit, or if I feel it's a fit, you will then be sent information on how we can connect for the actual session. And then we'll hop on the phone. We'll customize the strategy. We'll get you moving in the right direction, all right? Because there's nothing that I want more than to see women who are ridiculously talented, finally making the money that you deserve. All right. And living a life that's as big as your purpose. There's nothing I want more than that, because I cannot describe how it feels. All right. So if that's you, if you're in that place in your life and in your business right now, then I invite you to take advantage of this no-cost makeover session. Simply go to DesireeStafford.com/session and get yourself signed up. Remember, there are only a few spots available this week. So if you want to get in on this, make sure you submit your application as soon as possible, okay? It has been my absolute pleasure to serve you. And until we speak again, I sincerely hope you're up to big, bold things in your life and in your business. Take care.